Now, I want to talk about something that I saw Chris Jericho mention on his podcast. I thought it was really interesting, and I really want to pick your brain about this. He said that he thinks that it would be a good idea, and I think a big part of the reason he brought it up is because currently the Soccer World Cup is going on, so that's the Olympics. He said that he would like the idea of professional wrestling, obviously WWE and, you know, AEW for that matter, to be in the Olympics. And he said, I know that sounds crazy because, you know, of course it's a work, and obviously the winner's predetermined. But, you know, he said, I literally want to go in front of the IOC, the International Olympic Community, and pitch pro wrestling as an Olympic sport. Now, you might go, how can you do that? It's predetermined. Now, hold on, stop right there. Gymnastics, figure skating, pair figure skating, what is that? It's two people working together to put on the best performance. There is no way we cannot do that with wrestling. And you know what? Now that you put it that way, you know, I could see a scenario if they were, if you know Vince, and I know Vince is in the background, but you know, let's say Triple H, Stephanie, Nick Khan, the guys that are really making the decision, if they were to fight hard enough and, you know, kind of pick it in the sense that, you know, let's take our best talent, have them have their matches, and let's have like maybe 3 judges that are real unbiased wrestling or media minds or judges, and rate them on, you know, just putting an example out here, 1 through 10, like a dunk contest. What was the match like? How good was the performance? How loud was the crowd? How into it people was? I do think that might be an avenue for wrestling if you were to ever do it. I mean, obviously you can't do it because it's not a traditional competitive sport for like a standings or something, because it's a work. But I think if there's a way you can do it, why not treat it like figure skating that's there and just rate the pure performance and the athleticism and the action and the crowd reaction? What do you think about that?
You know why that wouldn't work though? That would kind of damage the brand of wrestling.
You think so?
Yeah. If you're doing that,
explain. If
you're doing that, then you're basically so now we're going 1,000% with breaking the kayfabe for doing that.
Nah, I see your perspective. I see that.
1,000. We're going 1,000,000% with it now.
I see that. I see.
You might as well say.
I see what you mean. It is a form of kind of that is breaking that wall. We all obviously are educated and sophisticated, but that's almost taking the wall all the way down in a different way. Yeah.
What about the kids?
But you know what, man? But you know what? I also think, I know it's tricky. I don't think you're wrong. It does take the wall down and cross the line, but in a weird way, for those of us who already, most of us are already there. Hell, even most kids are educated and know that it's a work for the most part, but not completely. But I think in some ways it would also give some extra credibility to wrestling, to be able to be on that stage every 4 years, to represent, to have your top competitors in the country, and to have one's last man standing. I do agree with you. It would be extremely tricky, and maybe they could find other ways to work around things. But I also think it can make wrestling more credible, you know, to be on that stage with all the other athletic events.
Yeah, but Dave, that's where I'm going with it though. If you line it up that way, now we're killing the storyline side of wrestling. We're killing the drama side of wrestling.
I see what you're thinking though.
You're just gonna line 2 people up and say, "Hey, you guys perform."
No, but that's the thing. But that's the thing. I'd like to think there's a clever way Like, for example, let's say in a hypothetical world, this was official. They would have like a spot to have like a tournament, a World Cup for on the for their guys. I think there could be a clever way on Raws and SmackDown on the build up to have the drama element carry over towards that, so it'll already be there for you, and then you just take it from there, and then it's by performance. I think there's a good way to build up. I think it would be all in the build up. You don't need to lose the story element.
I don't think there's a way to do that. I don't think there's a way to do that, because I don't think the Olympics is gonna allow something like that. Because now you're kind of killing their integrity.
That's the tricky part.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I think it's a conflict of interest on both sides.
Nah, I agree with you. I think if there was one hurdle, if WWE really tried to do this, and wrestling as a whole tried to do this, I think the pushback would be, well, we've never had something has a predetermined ending that would feel wrong. I'm pretty sure that's what
the ending. I don't even think it's the ending that's the problem. What I think it is, I think it's the true nature of it, because it's the true nature feel of it. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like, for the Olympics, they want like the strongest of the strong, the quickest of the quick. You know what I mean? The most crafty,
right.
To come and just display, that they're the best at what they do, right? You see what I'm saying? But in order to determine that for a wrestler, that story element gotta be there. You know what I'm saying? That mic skill thing gotta be there. And then the wrestling comes in after. So I don't know how the Olympics I don't know how they would do something like that unless they gave wrestling like their own separate show. You see what I'm saying? I think that's the only way they can kind of involve them, if they like gave them their own separate thing on like a different show, a different time from everybody else.
What do you mean, like a own separate thing? What would be an example of that?
Like let's say instead of trying to make wrestlers and performers do their thing on the same night as everybody else, you see what I'm saying? Like on the same night or week as everybody else, they would probably have to make something separate where they give them their own separate thing to create on like a different week or weeks later.
I see that.
Like that might be the only way they could possibly pull it off.
Yeah. Maybe you make them like the opening, like the opening act before the real Olympics on a separate night.
But here's another issue.
And call it like Olympic sports entertainment or something like that.
Maybe
to let them be themselves and give the story element still.
Maybe
but you still have judges with it.
Yeah, so possibly something like that could work. But here's where the problem comes in. WWE and AEW is not going to partner up on that. So you think in a perfect world, if they were taking the best wrestlers from AEW, New Japan, WWE in the global like a cup, you don't think WWE and AEW would meet in the middle to work in that? No. So
you think if this was to work, WWE would just have to do it with their guys amongst their crop?
But that's the only way I think WWE would do it. But at that point, it defeats the purpose.
It slightly does. But then again, we do know the best are under WWE's umbrella. But it does defeat the World Cup purpose.
It defeats the purpose. If it's not going to be other people from everywhere, it defeats the purpose. Because that's what the Olympics is. They grab something from every nation.
It is other people from everywhere, but that's because you have to actually be great where you're at. How many greats can AEW really send to the World Cup? Maybe 2, maybe 3 out of their people.
But how
many realistically can TNA send to the World Cup? Like, if it was including them.
I get you on that, but at the same time, it's like that's the whole point of the Olympics. When people who do what they do great in other areas come together and compete. WWE,
absolutely.
WWE's gonna say F you to that. They're not doing that.
I'd love to see it. I know that's the fin. I know what I'm fantasizing a little. I'd at least like to see something like you said. Maybe a trial run on the day to kick off before the Olympics, something separate. Give it a trial run. Make there be judges after each performance. I think there's a way to have judging and you don't completely violate kayfabe and say, hey, this was an act. I think there's a clever way to do it. Like get like a real media personality, get some real wrestling guys, I think spots like that is perfect for, I know he's not with WWE, but in a perfect world, a guy like Jim Ross is perfect to be one of those judges, maybe someone else that's a real good wrestling mind, a Cornette, things like that, a Booker T, maybe even an Undertaker, have guys that actually, they're being unbiased and have them be judges. But I think there's a way to do it. Like, I don't think if they were to do something like this, they should judge it like, hey, we know you were doing that suplex and you didn't want to really injure him and you're really protecting your opponent and you didn't really hate him. I don't think it has to be that crazy, but I think you could do it like, yo, how did you rate crowd reaction? How did you rate the action and how did the moves connected? How did the stunts in the high spots? I do think there's a way to do it.
And maybe, like I said, maybe if they can somehow create some type of separate super show type thing, maybe it can come off. But then again, now the contract shit, that's gonna come into. That's going to be a whole nother big conflict. I don't think they can pull it off. I'm going to just be real. I don't think they can.
It's interesting, though. It's interesting to see someone talk about it. I'll say that. The topic.
Maybe if we're talking about back in the territory times, it would work perfect.
I know wrestling's a work. I know this is partially the fantasizing me, and I know wrestling's a work. It's sports entertainment, to me, it's kind of entertainment ultimately, but it has a lot of sports based things by nature too. But I do think it's big enough. It has enough history and it's featured on Sports Illustrated. It's featured on ESPN. It's featured on Fox Sports. I just don't think it's not that crazy, the idea of it.
It's kind of
pitching it.
No, it's kind of crazy.
It's included in all these other sports outlets.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy because, like I said, people would have to get along. All the companies would have to get along, which is not going to happen. And then you really gotta make a. You
don't think now that Vince is out and Triple H is in, Triple H is kind of less stuck. You don't think Triple H is a little more flexible minded than Vince?
I don't think so. Not the way AEW.
He did let Mickey James. He did let Mickey James come in as TNA Knockout Women's Champion. He did. He's letting Michael Cole mention New Japan on commentary. Vince wasn't letting that happen. That's all I'm saying. Haven't you noticed Triple H is letting him acknowledge other companies?
No, but it's different.
I'm just saying.
But
Triple H is kind of that parent that will spoil you a little bit more.
But no,
Vince was the strict one.
It's different.
Triple H is the good.
No, it's different. It's different.
Explain.
Here's why it's different. TNA Knockout Champion. What the hell is that gonna do? You know what I'm saying? This dude's sick, bro. But bottom line, it is still technically a wrestling company. You're acknowledging their existence. It's a lesser company you're acknowledging. But they're dead. Huh? They're dead.
Yeah, but you're still giving them free publicity. You're still giving them free publicity on your platform of millions. You're still giving it that rub, bro. I think after Mickey made that appearance, TNA had their best ratings in years because WWE gave them that that little marketing. That come on, they gave them that little mention, bro. Like,
yeah,
this
but
is a TNA guy.
Dave, you're comparing something that is literally a cricket compared to WWE.
It is a cricket.
They're cricket. You know what I mean? New Japan, because they're way over there, they're also a cricket. You see what I'm saying? These are
cricket.
These are things, they're not on, primetime television. They're not on, cable live TV and all over the social platforms. They're not around like that no more. They're just things that, people use to hone their craft and get noticed. That's what these places are. AEW, at the end of the day, they're on cable television. They're on TNT.
Yeah, they're on mainstream television. Yeah.
And not only that, they trash mouth the other company any chance they get.
You think Triple H really cares about that?
Yeah, he's a man.
Again, Triple H isn't Vince. Triple H isn't that strict.
He's still competitive.
I'm surprised he's letting Michael. Why is he letting Michael Cole mention these other companies all of a sudden? These lesser companies. Vince would never.
It's New Japan. Come on.
It's New Japan.
New Japan.
Wow.
Vince. That's actually not true because Vince would allow people to talk about New Japan on this.
Nah, he wouldn't allow them to talk about TNA or say.
Well, no, not TNA.
No, he wouldn't.
Not TNA because TNA is different though.
Especially when TNA was actually popping a little bit.
But that's different though. Vince is an alien when it comes to the competition. Like he's gonna take it to the total extreme. But I'm pretty sure Triple H still has that competitive nature. He's not gonna sit there and let these people talk trash about the WWE performers and the WWE product, and then next thing you know, oh, let's buddy and let's team up to do something. I don't see him doing that. I definitely don't see him doing that.
It's interesting. I would love to see it with the traditional World Cup thing, but even if all the companies couldn't get on board and WWE was to get the clout to do it themselves, I think that'd be great. It'd just be great to see how it all unfolds.
Nah, because then it's a dead concept. It's a dead concept. If it's just WWE,
not really. You take wrestlers from every country. Have like KO rep Canada, have Shin rep Japanese.
Come on, man. I'd rather
have like a Brock Lesnar represent America.
Now we're watching Raw and SmackDown or pay-per-view.
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you on that. Yeah.
You might as well have made your own pay-per-view. Make your own pay-per-view then.
No, I tell you this. I think you're not giving Triple H this credit. I do think he would consider working with Japan because, like you said, it's just Japan. I think he would consider TNA because it's just TNA. But the AEW factor is what would really probably be the deal breaker.
That's the deal breaker.
They wouldn't want to benefit AEW.
That's what
because they're mainstream television.
That's what Dead's right there.
I think the other companies, they wouldn't care.
They wouldn't care.
Hell, AEW's already working with Japan guys.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Like that's what I mean. Like, I'm pretty sure you're totally right. If we're talking about all these other, dead things that people just use to, get noticed and get shine, like they will more than happy make a one-time deal with them. A one-night deal with them. Just be like, yo, bring like 2 people. You bring 2 people. Now, we're going to talk about these guys who every chance they get, say that, oh, we're trying to tamper with their guys and wrestlers. Oh, we're not, talking about the right way. They talk a lot of shit. You know the stuff Tony Khan's been saying. He's been saying some crazy stuff.
I know.
Over the last like 2 years. Like, why am I going to do business with this guy? Why would I?
But wouldn't it be healthy, playing devil's advocate? Wouldn't it be healthy for pro wrestling's health as a whole? Wouldn't it be healthy for them to all put their differences aside to get that spotlight in front of hundreds
No,
of millions. The
no,
Olympics are huge.
no. WWE don't need it.
They don't need it.
They
But that's
would
pretty crazy nah, you're right. But WWE doesn't need it, but it's pretty dope to get that spotlight in every country, watching those Olympics to get that. You know, that you can't be mad at getting that on that time of the year. It's special. There's a prestige to it.
It would, but you know, WWE, you gotta understand, those guys are already like Apple. They're already like Google when it comes to wrestling.
Real talk.
You know what I'm saying? They're only gonna do it if you're in good faith and it really is gonna benefit both of us. But these guys haven't been in good faith since day one. They've been talking trash.
Yeah. they really have it though. Maybe this would be at its best proposing if WCW back when they were mostly in good faith, even though they went to war, they weren't as in bad faith as AEW.
It wouldn't have worked then either. They
were probably too competitive.
Yeah, that was worse. Think about it. That was worse. They were stealing people and putting them on their show like the next week.
Spoiling that Mankind won the title on air on purpose.
Yeah.
So
that was
sick
worse.
For that, yo.
They took the woman's title and made them drop it in the trash.
Yeah. Damn.
Like you got to be in good faith for something like this. That's why I said the best time.
With the amount of international diversity there is, it's possible that they have a lot of international people to make this if they were to put their minds to it.
I think the only time this would be able to be pulled off is like the Hogan days. I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, when they were all over the territories at first, yo.
Because everybody was cool. That was the only time everybody was cool with each other. Everybody had at least a cordial relationship before.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Because Ric Flair was going everywhere.
They were like just comic book heroes being heroes and villains. Yo, everybody just got.
Yeah, like Ric Flair, he was going everywhere anyway, defending his title, all over the globe. Hulk Hogan did it for a little bit. Andre was doing it. You know what I mean? Jerry Lawler was doing it. People like Sting, when he was first starting out, he was doing it. I think that's the only time it would have worked. You know what I mean?
Nah, that's a good point. Nah, that's good.
Senior.
Those guys were mostly about just coming to work, being a gimmick, and going home. There was less competitive eggs, less drama, little less politics, because Hogan had it on lock. But that would have been a good time for it, actually.
It's not working now. There's too much politics involved.
Yo, WrestleMania, yo. There's rumors that Austin's been getting in shape. I was watching a video he posted, and he said that he has been training hard. He was showing workout videos, and he said most of his life he was around 250, 252, and he said he's at one of his best weights at 232. He's cutting weight to get in cardio. Austin's coming back, man. He at the end of the video, he said everybody's asking me questions about a comeback. He's like, nah, I just started working out because I look like shit. That's not why, man. That's not why. This isn't the exact things that were happening last time. He was, huh?
He was looking bad, though. He was looking pretty bad.
He didn't look awful, but he's looking good now.
He had that.
He's looking
really
good.
He had that gut. I think he's trying to hide like
he's cutting weight a little bit, and I think he's coming, bro. And word on the streets, they made him an offer, and he was thrilled about how it went last year with KO. I'm all about what's the biggest show possible, because to me, all my life, for the most part, WrestleMania is what can you get? How many stars in big time matchups or first time evers can you get? If you can get them, you put them on. That's what it's for.
Right.
And I do agree. While I do agree, it's the safe thing to do to put him in the ring with a younger guy that's in ring shape that that could do most of the bumps and hard bumps for him. I also agree that we didn't even know we was going to get Austin KO. That was a blessing. And if you're going to have another blessing at this, you can't get it with just the average name. You can't put him next to an average name. You're going to get that blessing again. And KO did his thing. I'm not calling KO average, but I'm saying if you put, let's say, Stone Cold with the Austin Theory, I like Austin Theory, but no, that I don't think you could do that. So I think it has to be a Cena Austin, a Brock Lesnar Austin. I think if this is going to happen, it has to be one of those calibers that Austin, it's worth him getting out of bed for. It's worth it.
No, he's definitely not doing it with Lesnar. You're out of your mind. Steve Austin's a national treasure. You trying to kill the guy, bro?
Nah. You said that last year against KO. You said KO would kill him by trying to kill the guy.
No, I said the match can't be extended because KO will kill him. Because KO, I don't like the way KO.
You said if KO does anything to him, he's a big guy. He could squish him or
which is exactly
with his neck, bro.
Which is exactly why, if you watch the match, David, the one bump Steve Austin took was the suplex outside.
That's a big bump. He took some kicks and punches.
That's not bump, though. You're doing most. You know what I mean? And that's how you got to keep it for Austin. You got to keep it like one bump per match.
Yeah.
He's only going to hit the ground once per match.
Or some easy flat back ones. That way he doesn't have to fall high.
Like stuff where he's going to do most of the falling for himself. That's how you got to keep it.
Yeah.
So Dave, you got to find a young guy who's going to do that job for him. Cuz Cena, I don't think Cena can pull that off anymore. Cena's not going to be able to. I don't think I'm ready to. I know Cena's not here, but I'm not ready to. Looking at his last couple performances, I'm not ready to put him in the category of. He definitely got carried by Roman. I don't know if you could say that about the last other few, but he definitely got carried by Roman. Last time he came here, he got carried.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm ready to say Cena's totally incapable of carrying for a night. He's done this for too long. He got the IQ for this shit. And I think he would pay. He would know how to pace the match and keep it safe in a way that they don't have to do a lot.
Let me ask you a question, Dave. When's the last time he did it?
Yo, I would have to think about it, obviously, because, bro, the guy's not here often. You have to actually let me think. You know,
that's the whole point. He's not here often, and every time he shows up, he's in a position where somebody's doing most of the job. He's Hollywood.
That's not true, because what you got to understand, what you got. Nah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Nah, you're right. But what you got to understand is, last time, especially the last time he came, he definitely did get carried by Roman. But the last time he came, even though he wasn't fighting on Raws and SmackDown televised, he was fighting dark matches to build up to get into that ring shape. And I believe if he does something similar where he's fighting dark matches and house shows to get in that carrying shape, I believe that he's capable. I don't think he's at the age. He's not at the age. That's ridiculous.
Look at his body, David.
We're seeing the likes of Edge, who took 9 years off and came back and was able to do it.
Edge gets carried.
Let's be fair a little bit.
No, Edge gets carried too.
Don't give me that.
He does. He didn't get carried.
Sammy.
He didn't get carried by Randy
Edge gets carried. He didn't get carried by Randy Orton. Nah, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. He gets carried, but Edge has done a lot of carrying, bro. Stop forcing it, bro.
Where?
With Balor, the last standing match, bro.
Come on, man.
Sammy, he carried him, bro. He
did not carry Finn Balor. Finn Balor
carried him, die.
Bro, Edge
he was the ring general, bro.
Edge can't carry nobody.
Bro, you're not even watching him. I'm sorry.
He doesn't have
if you're saying that, you're not watching, bro.
Dave, you need
he was the ring. He was the ring general. He was the ring general in some of the Rollins matches. In a couple of those.
You gotta stop, Dave. You gotta stop. There's a reason why they're putting him in the ring with these guys. There's a reason why they're putting him in the ring with these guys, bro. These guys are the guys
because they're dream matches.
No, it's not because they're dream matches. It's because these guys are in the prime of their life. They're in the prime of their life. They're in the prime of their life. You need great conditioning.
I've never seen an all-time great. I mean, you could argue in a sense. What would be the big difference? I know he wasn't gone completely, but to me, if you do Cena and Austin this year, that's somewhat relatively similar to Hogan and Rock back in 18.
No, it's not.
Because people don't realize it.
No, it's not.
It kind of is. People don't realize.
It's far from that.
People don't realize it. Hogan was very, very much past his prime. He just made it look good. He was very much past his prime age-wise.
Dave, Hogan was still pretty active in those times, though.
Hogan was active. Hogan was active, but you're forgetting that he had a big layoff between that WCW and when that match came.
Oh, it wasn't that big, David. It wasn't that big.
He had a layoff.
Dave, it was
big, bro.
What are you talking about? Hogan was in
and Rock was beginning his layoffs with Hollywood. They were both kind of disconnected. Something.
No, Dave. Wait a minute.
It'd be very similar age-wise.
No. It's
and
not.
I think Cena's younger than what Hogan was.
Dave, here's the deal. This is the way you got to look at it. If you're gonna try to match it up that way, this is the way you got to look at it. Rock at the time only took like one break. During that 2002 time, the only time he left was for Scorpion King. He wasn't getting that much roles yet. Not yet. That came in 2003 when he started taking breaks like crazy and he was gone left and right. Like that came in 2003. That came the year after. So Rock was still in prime condition.
You could not sit here and tell me
and Hogan only left.
And Hogan was not in his prime at all.
He wasn't, but he was still pretty active because he was there when WCW closed their doors in 2001. He was around.
All I'm saying, don't get me wrong, that's a very classic match. I love that match. All I'm saying is Hogan, it was clear that The Rock was doing the heaviest of lifting.
Yeah, but Rock,
even though he was disconnected.
But Rock was in the condition for that. If you do Cena versus Austin, who's in the condition for that? None of them.
But Cena wrestles a style where all of that would be hidden so well. That's all I'm saying. He wrestles a style where with the lack of everyday prime condition, it would be hidden.
No, bro,
he could get 12 minutes out of Austin, bro. I know it, bro.
He can, but it's all about making it look great. Cena's not going to be able to carry it and make it look great at this point in his life. Look at his body, David.
Cena's so...
He don't even look like Cena no more. Look at his body, David.
Yo, this dude's in there.
Who's going to do this?
Nah, for real, though.
Dave, he can't
My
do this.
man lost his muscle mass, bro.
Bro, come on,
nah,
Dave.
he still
do that job, bro.
If
this is 2018 Cena, 2017 Cena, yes.
Hold on.
Book it.
You're telling me you don't think for you to say this, that Cena can't come for one night and get a good match out of Austin. That's like saying for one night Michael Jordan couldn't drop like 15 against these guys defending him. That's like saying he couldn't drop 15 points. I bet you Jordan could get 15 points.
Michael Jordan cannot get 15 points.
If he was like 30, if he was like LeBron's age, like if he was like 40 years old, obviously he's too old now. But you tell me if he was like 40 years old, he couldn't go back and drop like 15? Come on, bro, that's ridiculous to me.
No, 40 years old, you're being too easy on Jordan. That's too easy. Because Jordan
basketball years, that's bad.
Because Jordan was active.
In basketball years, that's like what Cena basically is. Though.
But Jordan was active in his late 30s with the Wizards. We're talking about two people who ain't active, David. They're not active.
So?
They're not active at all. Two.
Name me the guy. Honestly, name me the guy that's a current era, night in, night out. The only guy that I could see that could carry Austin, and you'll get your money's worth, and the match will live up to height. Seth Rollins is the only guy who could do something like that.
I'm about to give you a great name. I'm about to give you a name that's going to top
that. And Seth Rollins is a good guy now. So I'm
going to give you a name right now that's going to top that one, David. You know who I'm thinking about? Randy Orton.
Randy Orton. It's looking like this dude might have to retire, possibly. They're not saying nothing about his comeback. I would like that. That guy, that's the perfect pick, though. I'm not gonna lie.
If they can get Randy Orton for one night, if they can get Randy Orton for one night to retire, have a retirement match, why not against Steve? Because he's actually pretty active.
That's a guy. That's a guy that's good. But again, he's coming off of a layoff.
He's pretty active. He's in ring shape, and he could be a heel or a face. Don't matter. And he can carry the situation.
That is the dream match, though, too.
If you can get Randy Orton, that's perfect.
I'm not mad at that. If you're telling me you're not doing the Cena and you're not doing the Cena and you
Cody Rhodes.
I don't like the pairing.
Cody Rhodes. I'm telling you.
Because they would be forced to choose over Cody, and I don't want that. You don't need that right now. I don't like. Well,
you're right. They're too big.
I really
faces.
Don't like it.
Oh, you're right. They're too big.
Austin will outshine, hit all the thing he built up.
You're right. You're right on that note.
You need someone like I accept Randy Orton because he's big enough and he's safe enough and he has a high enough IQ, so it will work. But come on, bro. Everybody else is like it. It would basically be a big stage squash match. We don't want that either. We don't. If Austin's gonna come back, we don't want a big stage squash match. Like
that's all he can do. We gotta accept it. That's all he can do. David, it has to be like 10 minutes of one guy just getting beat up 90% of the time.
Even he said if he was to ever come back, he said Brock Lesnar is someone he would want. So I'm just saying, bro.
No, bro, that dude
he said it.
He cannot handle Brock Lesnar's matches, bro. You cannot handle it. He's being a fool. You're gonna get hurt. You cannot handle. You're telling me he's gonna handle at least 5 suplexes? Get out of here.
He might be able to get 1 or 2, but Lesnar would have to do it softer. I know it's still early, but yo, what's looking like the solution for the Warriors, bro? They don't look like they're gaining momentum to turn it around, bro. It's still early, but damn, I think they're like out of the top 8, them and the Lakers.